Hello, everybody, and welcome to the MLE Season 10 Conference Playoff Finals. We're here with both conference finals, the blue and the orange, and kicking off today, we start with the Foundation League. I am the Kill, joined today by Big Mac Dan. Mr. Dan the Man, how are you?
I am feeling good. I am feeling hyped. It's the conference finals. It's what we've been building towards all season long to decide which team tops their conference and heads towards the grand finals this coming Saturday. It's all about today. Everything that each of these players has done this season comes down to this one series. And it's going to be incredible to see how these players are going to be able to cope with all of that pressure, all of that hype. And I'm really looking forward to casting some of it for all of you.
Oh, I definitely am as well. And obviously kicking off the day today, we've got the Bears facing off against the Tyrants. Now, the Bears, it's got to be said, impressive last week to beat out the number one in the Bulls. And the Tyrants only held back this season by the Bulls. So it's interesting now to see if the Tyrants, can take that number one spot in the conference.
Yeah, the Bears upsetting the Bulls was a shock result to many. And not many people really were able to predict that the Bears would come out so strong with the victory over the Bulls. But now they're up against a different beast entirely. This Tyrants roster of Detto and Loser have been destroying FL all season long, only pinned back by the Bulls. If it wasn't for the Bulls' incredible record during the regular season, I feel like that they would be the favourites throughout the entirety of the Foundation League. And it's going to be interesting to see how the Bears are able to cope with that. Speaking of the Bears, you've got the father-daughter combo. It is the team of destiny, someone quoted it as, with the Bears this season. You've got Cardinal and Hyperfang Hyena, the absolute mad pair that they are. We saw them on stream in an interview last week. It's going to be interesting to see if the look and the familial bond is going to be strong enough to beat out a team that has been beating every other team bar one, left, right, and center throughout the entire season.
Yeah, and obviously what's so impressive as well is you've got the two differences in the Bears roster as well. You've got Cardinal, 6th season in the league so far, and then Hyperfang Hyena, complete opposite end of the spectrum with rookie season in the MLE. So if they manage to take this, if they manage to go to the end, could you imagine the feeling winning in your rookie season? That would be incredible.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't checked if that is a stat that has ever happened before. A team coming through, especially in the latter seasons here in MLE, as now we're in season 10, and coming through in their rookie season to take a trophy for themselves as we get ready to go. Oh, this is going to be one heck of a best of 7.
Yeah, I'm so looking forward to seeing what these teams have to offer. And starting off early, the Bears get the first goal of the game in under 5 seconds, and the father-daughter combo start off strong.
Cardinal with a great pickup off the kickoff, dribbles it round the last defender. Detto can't get there. The Bears start strong. Is this a precursor to what we're going to see for the rest of the series? I personally hope not. I hope the Tyrants come back and win this.
Oh, I don't know about that. I like the underdog stories, I gotta admit. I like the idea of that Bears combo, especially with not just the history, you gotta bear it in mind in MLE. This transcends the esports game. This is a family as well. This is what makes this so impressive, is that it's not just two great players in MLE that they've managed to get into Foundation League. It's two great players within one household, which is just it's a great story for everyone. But here, Hyperfang just popping it off onto the side. It could be risky. Loser trying to come in fast, not able to beat out Cardinal, and a slight miss from Detto. Cardinal slowing it down, hoping to make a play of it. Coming in fast, Hyena just managing to pop it into the corner. Loser, though, going to be the one to challenge. Cardinal getting it past him, though, and now it's going to be Detto facing off against Hyena. Hyena almost getting the dunk on it. And Cardinal and Hyperfang just giving each other a bit of a hug in the center, just saying, we're here for each other. And now the goal, though, coming out from Detto, and it's a nice little ones play there.
Yeah, there's a nice dribble there. Plays it under Cardinal to take him out the play. Knows he doesn't have to go fast. He'll get Hyena to lunge and then just places it behind her. There's no way she gets back for that save. A great goal to equalise from Detto. And the Tyrants, with a minute 10 gone, are back even.
Yeah, and it's a good kickoff from the Bears there, popping it straight into the path of Hyperfang, but Loser with the booming clear, hoping Cardinal might make some sort of miss as Detto gets it off of the ceiling, looking to follow as well, gets the ceiling touch over the top of Hyperfang, and now looking to put it over one, gets it past the first, still looking to follow that up, can't quite get it into the center field for Loser. There's going to be Hyperfang transitioning out onto offense. It's a good 50 looming over the goal, and Detto just slow to take it, looking for another ceiling shot. It might actually happen this time. A slight miscalculation, but it was so close.
Yeah, and it's the confidence to be able to be doing that on such a great stage as this. They're in the conference finals, and he thinks, you know what, I'm going to show off. I'm going to pop off with a ceiling shot. Screw it. I have nothing left to lose. That level of confidence only comes with being one of the best teams in Foundation League. To have that trust in yourself and your own mechanical abilities, especially at Foundation League. These are like low-end diamonds plat players. They aren't the cream of the crop, you may say, in the ranking system, but they sure are in terms of just pure heart and determination when it comes to gameplay.
Yeah, there's a great save from Loser. Detto now looking to pop it center for Loser. Loser managing to get it, and a slight miss and a good shot from Loser is going to leave it open goal. And on the 2-minute 25-second mark, pretty much, we see goal number 2 coming out from the Tyrants.
A great play there from the entirety of the Tyrants roster. Detto with a great little touch. I think it was Detto, at least, with the touch into the midfield. Might have actually been a mistouch from one of the Bears players, but either way, the ball found its way to Loser's HUD, and he puts it in the back of the net. A solid comeback here from the Tyrants, able to keep their composure after going behind early, and now they look like the dominant team as we head into the second half of this match.
They do, and Detto looking to follow up. It's a good pass off of the backboard. You're wondering if Loser is following up. They are, and it's a good touch just over the top of Cardinal. Unfortunately, Hyper not able to get it, and that's going to be 3-1 for the Tyrants.
Yeah, it feels like now it feels like the route has begun, in a sense. This is the result some fans were fearing, especially on the Bears side. The Tyrants have been so good at just taking defenses and showing them what's what all season long that it was only a matter of time before they got their shooting boots on today, as Hyper tries to get one for herself, can't find the back of the net, and Cardinal only as far as the corner. It takes a lot to be able to be the favourites and to not succumb to that pressure. It's a lot easier as the underdog team to really thrive. And honestly, the fact that the Tyrants have been able to keep themselves completely in control of this series after that equalising goal, it's just a testament to how good they've been all season long.
Yeah, but that's going to be a great shot from Cardinal, popping it over Detto and just managing to beat out Loser. And it's a great way to get your second goal of the game for your team. And this is just a great game so far between these two.
Yeah, Cardinal really coming alive. He felt overshadowed by Hyperfang's dominant performance against the Bulls last week in the semi-finals. Decides this time, I'm going to be the one to shine. I'm going to be the one with my name in lights, and he's really been the key player for the Bears early on here in this series. I'm looking to see Hyper try and get involved in the play. Never mind, Cardinal do it himself.
What a shot from Cardinal. Pops it over the first just high enough. Detto doesn't even bother challenging, and the Loser just not quite the winner in that one, unfortunately, as Cardinal gets the equaliser. And with a minute 10 left, they've really managed to get back in this game.
Absolutely. It's a great... You mentioned it, the underdog story. It truly is for the Bears. They were just able to make it to the playoffs. They snuck in at the 4th overall for their conference. They were the lowest ranked team here in the playoffs. They then destroyed the number 1 seed against all, normal laws of odds in terms of gameplay. And then they come out and they're giving the number 2 seed the fight of their lives here in game 1. This series, it speaks volumes to how good, how much depth there is in this Foundation League this season, with all of these great players all challenging for the title.
Yeah, and you kind of said it perfectly. They didn't just beat the Bulls last week. They dominated the Bulls. A 3-0 sweep was so impressive. And if they can take this game, this first game, they have every right to do it again. But it's going to be a good pop over one, and it's going to be a little bit of a fake. Tries to get it past the second one, isn't able to find the shot on target, but coming in fast. Hyperfang is trying to get the goal before the end, and might just be able to do it, but drops straight down in the open goal, but unfortunately couldn't keep it up, and we see an overtime in game number 1.
We saw this in a series last week where a team found themselves with an open net on 0 seconds. They couldn't put the ball away, and it led to them losing the game and then losing the series. And history will repeat itself as loser buries that one in the back of the net. The Tyrants take game 1.
Yeah, and it's so unfortunate. The initial challenge from Hyper not making contact. The second challenge from Cardinal just being beaten out by a good pass off of the wall just to the side of that goal area. Such a dangerous area to get passing plays from, and Loser making no mistake to finish that one off. But this is promising. This is showing some good things that's going to be coming in the future between these two teams, because 4-3 in an overtime in game number 1, and this was close. This was really well performed.
Yeah, both teams threw everything into game 1. Normally you get a tense opening to the series, especially a best of 7, where both teams feel each other out for the majority of the game, but both teams found that they really couldn't do that after a 3-second goal to open the scoring from the Bears. The Tyrants had to go all-out attack to try and get themselves back into it. They take the 3-1 lead. The Bears with a great comeback against, again, my own, belief. I thought the series was, the game at least, was done and dusted with that. But no, they came back and they took it to overtime. And to be fair, one could make the claim that they should have won that. At the end of the day, they didn't. And the Tyrants will lead going into game 2.
Yeah, they definitely had the opportunities to win, and we saw some fantastic solo plays as well from Cardinal. It's got to be said, there were some really nice little pops over the final defender, and that's actually what you want to see in this. You want to see a little bit of ground play as well. What you don't want to see sometimes is just ball getting launched kind of backwards and forwards, and neither team's doing that at the moment. They're playing really quite calm, really collected, and for kind of Diamond 1, Diamond 2, Plat 3 players, they're playing a lot better than that.
Yeah, it's the sort of quality you'd expect out of Academy or Champ League to some extent, with Deto's mechanical skill especially. It's impressive to see as we get into game 2. I'm looking to see that same pace, that same level of play that we've seen in game 1 continue in this one.
And definitely the ball's just going to be left in the center as Hyperfang passes it off into the corner. Still going to be following this one as well, messing about the defenders and coming straight in like a dart. Cardinal right there to clean up that mess early on.
Great play from Hyperfang to get that ball in front of the net. Defense was left perplexed. They did not know what to do. And once again, the Bears take an early lead here, this time in game 2. Let's see if they're going to be able to hold on to this one, unlike how they did in game 1.
Yeah, there was great pressure early on from the kickoff, and something that I hope they continue going on in this game. But the Loser with 0 boost, this is really risky, taking yourself out of the play. I'm not sure if they've picked up the 100 now, might be able to cause a bit of an issue. But if not, it's going to be a struggle getting back. Neto going to have to play it around his goal area, hoping that he can get the clear out. But if he doesn't, it's going to be presented for an open goal. Unfortunately for Hyperfang, she makes no mistakes there, and 2-0 lead. Ever so slight mistake though from Deto.
Yep. 40 seconds in, and already the mood has shifted in this game too. You did not expect the Bears to come out so strongly. You'd expect their morale to be on a bit of a low, to think that, well, we should have won that game, but we lost it because we couldn't score right on 0 seconds. But instead they've come out all guns blazing. Hyperfang looks for an amazing aerial goal there, gets demoed for her efforts. And honestly, the Tyrants have looked lackluster in this first minute.
Yeah, they definitely look like they're struggling a little bit, and I think that just stems from the mounting pressure. As more pressure comes on, it's a great pass from Cardinal, and Hyperfang again, just these guys links up play. They just mesh so well, and I suppose that's what happens when you're the father and the daughter combo. Yeah,
you don't have more chemistry than family. It's one of those things where there's almost like a psychological link. There's like this psychic link between the two And the fact that they're able to perform so seamlessly together, the passing plays coming out all game long in game one, especially Cardinal receiving the passes from Hyperfang, now returns the favor here in game two, and it has really paid dividends for them this series so far. I can't wait to see if they'll keep this up, because honestly, it's so entertaining to watch two family members compete so well with one another.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic, and it just goes to show, you know, especially with this being Hyperfang's first season and rookie season, we've only got more to come from this duo, hopefully. But it's a great boom from Cardinal, and Deto's going to have trouble saving it, and isn't able to, and the slight doink coming off of Deto's car is going to send it in the back of the net, and they go 4-0 up in game number 2.
Yeah, this has been a complete change in, well, perception, it feels like, from the Bears. They've come into this game, they've taken the goal lead, and instead of sitting back, resting on their laurels, they've gone, you know what, nah, we're gonna make another one. Then they go 2-0 up. Nah, we're gonna go for a third. We'll go for a fourth as well, screw it. We'll keep scoring until we run out of goals to score. Because they can. They've been taking this Tyrants defense, and they've been making it non-existent. It feels like it's always in a 2v1 situation for the Bears. They're always able to attack so easily on the Tyrants defense. Now the Tyrants will get their own back. Loser with a good goal there, and tries to stop the rout that is taking place here.
Yeah, that was slightly unfortunate. It's always a difficult position to defend from there, but coming just over the top, Loser making no mistakes, and it's still all going the way of the Bears in this game so far. Even this Hyperfang that's to take out over the wall has the opportunity to get it past one. Instead tries to fake out Loser. It's going to bounce down favorably for the Tyrants, but instead Cardinal playing it well, taking the shot. Loser able to get back in time. He's going to look to pop this past Hyperfang, gets it. Loser now and Deto in a 2-on-1 situation. Hyperfang just trying to get back, but Cardinal's going to get a good block on that one, still trying to follow that up. Might look to take a shot on target. Instead, allows his daughter to take it. Hyperfang not able to get the best of clears. Unfortunately, Cardinal coming in with a clinical save though, and it's going to be Hyperfang now following up, popping it up over there into the corner. Might be able to get some sort of play going, but Deto clearing it out to the side isn't going to have too many problems. It doesn't look like, as Loser gets a clear over to the side. Hyperfang following this one up, gets hit onto the side, but Deto and Loser double commit from those two. Maybe Cardinal there to save this one. Is Loser popping it straight into the center, but it's the center for Hyperfang, looking for the target just wide though.
Yeah, it feels like the Tyrants have been penned in their own half for the last minute. Hyperfang with a great shot just over the bar. Can't direct it on target. For the first time in a while, Deto trying to dribble this ball down the field. He has an open net to shoot at, but he can't put it on target. Oh, the humanity of the scene. A great save from Hyperfang to keep that one out. It's been all Bears. It really has. It's just been a lack of creativity from the Tyrants on offense. They've been unable to put away goals that they really should have been scoring. They've not been doing enough to really cement themselves as a true, powerhouse in this fixture, especially here in this game. As they look for a passing play, they find it. Loser gets his second and immediately shuts me up.
Yeah, and the worrying thing here now is with only a 2-goal buffer and a minute left, there is everything to play for. But it was a great infield pass from Deto, just managing to flick it past one. Loser following up enough in time to get that second goal. And even here, the patience from Deto is looking like it's going to be an attempted flick, maybe a bump, but Cardinal's going to be able to get the clear. But as it pops over, Deto just going the wrong way. Cardinal managing to bait Deto out enough here, and it's looking like it could potentially be a goal, but Deto's going to come in for the block. Hyperfang looking to put it into the corner. Might look to follow this one as well. Is going to get a shot. It's not going to be on target. It's Deto now trying to clear it out. The Loser, a little bit of a missed jump, and Hyperfang almost finding the impossible angle.
Those sorts of angles, we've seen so many times that players have found them, those impossible angles, but they truly are some of the hardest shots to hit. As Hyperfang tries to rotate back. Cardinal is someone we didn't really give much credit. I'll be honest. I didn't give him much credit last time we got to see him play. A great goal from Deto to make it 3-4 and immediately interrupts my point. The Tyrants run down with 10 seconds remaining this series, and this game is not over yet.
Yeah, it's really not. At this point, the Tyrants doing everything they can to try and stay in this. And with only one goal to find, a kickoff goal here is all it will take. It does go the way of the Tyrants. And a good follow-up here from Detto could open it up. The shot comes through. It's high. And the follow is going to be the goal. And on the 1 second mark, the Tyrants managed to get the equalizer.
From 4-0 down, may I remind you, 4-0 down, to take it to 4-4 with a second remaining. An absolutely brilliant display of comeback of class from the Tyrants to keep their cool. Now they take it to overtime. It could go any way. If the Tyrants take this though, you gotta think the morale has to go for the Bears. How many times can you go in front, take it to OT and lose before all of that momentum gets sucked out of you?
It's so true. The only saving grace here for the Bears is that best of 7, which means even if they lose this, there's still 2 to pull back. But that miss from Cardinal and the boost still from Loser might make it a little bit too difficult. Coming in hot, though, is Hyper. And now Cardinal looking to transition it out, waiting patiently, getting it over 1. Still has the boost to remain and still has the boost to follow this. Loser, not the greatest recovery. But Detto, this is patient from Detto, just waiting on the back post. That's some patience you rarely see at these ranks, and it's a great decision as well because it allows him to get a great clear, and it might be an unfortunate situation from Cardinal, but managing to put it over the side is Hyperfang. Detto with a slightly early challenge, but credit to him, it goes his way. Second challenge not going his way though. Loser on the follow-up, and Hyperfang with the miss is going to be difficult regardless of the situation. Now it might be a 2-on-1. Cardinal popping it round and going straight back into the center from a great pass from Loser, and Daryl with the follow isn't able to find the target, and now having to push it over to the side. It's looking like Cardinal's going to try and get the clear, but it's a center pass, and if there is a follow after that demo, it could be dangerous. It's popped high, it's popped worryingly, and Detto can't manage to beat out Cardinal.
Cardinal, great defense off the respawn. Now goes for the flick, looks for the bump on the goalie. He doesn't need to get the bump, but he'll get the goal either way. What a recovery from Cardinal. Gets demoed, comes back into the play, then he gets the save, and then scores the winner in OT. What an absolute chad.
Yeah, that was just absolutely incredible. And it's got to be said, even more credit has got to be given in the fact that they won that overtime, because after going 4-0 up, like you said earlier in the game, to then lose all 4 goal advantage is just heartbreaking. For it to then go to overtime, I mean, for anybody who watches kind of like the pro leagues, you'll know that this was a similar situation that happened with, I think it was Cloud9 yesterday, going, I think it was 4-0 down or 5-0 down, and they managed to pull it back and then win in overtime. Fortunately here, it's the Bears that managed to take the victory, and they will be so happy that they have managed to do so as well. But it's got to be said, these games, 4-3 in the first one with an overtime, 5-4 in the second with an overtime. Do you think we'll just keep seeing overtime after overtime at this point?
Honestly knit together. There is very little difference between the two teams. It 100% could go to a game 7 OT. The best they've played all season long, and that is saying something for both teams. You saw Cardinal, absolute monster on defense, 4 saves in that game, 4 shots in that game, and getting a hat-trick for his effort. He was the man alive in this series, and I can't wait to see him continue to keep that momentum going here as we head towards game 3.
Yeah, in this game 3, I have every hope, every aspiration that this is going to be just as good and keep me just as hyped as the previous 2 games have kept me. These 2 teams just battling it out so well. And that is going to be, again, the first goal. And again, Cardinal, with some absolutely phenomenal kickoff displays here.
Absolute brilliant. Control, beautiful guard control to then control the ball after the touch, gets it in the back of the net. Once again, first 15 seconds of the game, Bears 1-0.
Yeah, Bears 1-0 and looking to try and make it 2. A great shot from Hyperfang, but it's a relatively easy clean. Cardinal going up early, showing that he has some aerial quality to him as well. And this is going to be a potentially great goal. A little trip off of the side by Detto. It's unfortunate, but a great shot from Hyperfang. And that's going to be 2-0 to the Bears. They take a 2-0 lead again in game number 3.
And a great shot. It's all about the placement, especially at this level. Placing the ball in such a place where the opponent's defense cannot get to it. In this case, putting it against the side post and to then have it bounce into the net. A very rare shot to see in Rocket League. Normally you hit the post and it bounces out and you end up cursing constantly on the comms. But in this case, Hyperfang finds the angle, finds the position, puts it in the back of the net. And it's a great goal to really symbolise that, yeah, the Bears start down to a T. They know exactly how to take this Tyrants defense and make it theirs early on.
That's completely true, and now they're going to look to get it out again. Cardinal beating out Loser. You can see it coming, and now straight off of the side, might look to try and get a pass infield to Hyperfang. It's not going to find her, but Hyperfang, a great challenge on the sidewall. Looking to follow this one up as well. Looking for the shot. It's a good one. Loser getting a great save, though, putting it high, and it's going to be difficult for Cardinal to challenge that. Does so anyway, and now Detto, I think, looking for that ceiling shot again, instead opting for the infield pass. It's going to be cleared by Hyperfang. Loser touch into the corner. It's going to be followed easily by Cardinal. Cardinal just trying to bait out Detto. It's not a great bait, and Hyperfang with a relatively difficult clear there. Detto trying to find it over the top of Cardinal. It doesn't manage to find the target, just hitting that side post and managing to stay out, and it's still the 2-goal lead for the Bears. And unfortunately, I think, lost my co-caster ever so slightly, so I'll keep going myself here, but Detto popping it off into the corner. Cardinal looking for that follow, and it's going to be Loser just sending it off right into the face of Hyperfang as Detto comes over the top, isn't able to find the target. Still looking to cause a problem, though. Cardinal hitting it off onto the sidewall. The 100 boost pad being stolen, and the double commit from the Tyrants. Hyperfang might look to capitalize on this one. Is going to. Takes the shot, but Loser with the save. And the two teams just battling so well. And again, coming immediately in. Cardinal there. Unbelievable pass coming through. Hyperfang making no mistakes. 2 defenders, but no problems whatsoever. And that is going to be 3-0 as we wonder, can the Tyrants come back? And can Dan come back?
I am back, I think. I
hope. He is.
I'm back. It was a great goal. I got to catch it just at the end of it. Been having some technical difficulties on my own, but it doesn't matter about the technical difficulties when Tyrants are scoring goals like that. What a passing play from Loser and Detto.
Yeah, that's an absolutely great pass, and Detto just managed to find it in time to get goal number 1 in this game. Number 3, and they'll be looking for a comeback because the 4-0 deficit they managed to come back from last game is going to give them all the confidence they need to know that they can come back from any deficit presented to them. And Detto is going to look to do it, can't find the target. It's going to bounce up awkwardly. Cardinal with a difficult lift off. It's great pass infield. Loser trying to capitalize. He's straight back into the path of Detto, and waiting so patiently and so perfectly is Cardinal, now looking for a shot, looking for a pass, looking for a play, but it's not going to be anything as Detto looks to whip it in. It's going to find the target, but it's going to find Cardinal's front bumper. As the demo comes through, the shot goes on, and Detto is there to get the clear.
It has been a defensive masterclass, I want to say, from Cardinal. It feels like any time that the Tyrants are shooting at the net, but Cardinal's in the net, they aren't putting it past him. That right there is the quality of a player who knows where his favoured position is. He's able to take that and make it his own. There is nothing that this Tyrants offense can do to put it past him. Maybe they'll try passing it around him, or maybe they'll have to try demoing him or something, because what they're doing right now is just not working enough at the time to keep them in front in this series.
Yeah, it's really not, but the demo coming through, it won't be difficult for Hyperfang to deal with. Nobody challenging her, just looking to pop it over to this Tyrants defensive area. Doesn't want to cause too much of a problem on her own defense as Cardinal looks to get the block, isn't going to get it, takes himself completely out of position. It's going to be a 2-on-1. It's going to be a shot for loser, but no, Hyperfang coming in early, coming in over the top and coming in to get the clear, and is now challenging the miss coming through from Deo. Is going to look for the 50 from Hyperfang, but a demo for her efforts as Cardinal now looks to try and take the shot, gets the flick onto the side. Loser just getting there in time, but the follow-up from Hyperfang too high. Cardinal will look to refollow. It's going to be Deo there first, and now again a 2-on-1. Hyper needs to clear, but it's cleared straight into the path of Loser, but the save coming through, and now the transition looking for the target. It goes high. Cardinal's up early, looking for the goal. The follow from Hyperfang. No contact made, no contact found, and no extra goal for them, as any goals scored here by the Tyrants would be a consolation at best, and the Bears take game number 3.
And they have looked good while doing it, especially. And I made the claim that the Cardinal was the key defender for this series, but no, Hyperfang this time with 4 saves to her name. She was all over the pitch, 7 shots, 4 saves. There is no person who has played better in this game than her. She was doing everything for the team. She was putting in the goals when necessary. Her 2 goals gave the Bears the win eventually in this matchup. And now, as we look towards game 4, the Bears 2-1 up. They are 2 games away from booking their place in the grand finals for MLE Season 10 Foundation League. The fairy tale lives, and the fairy tale breeds.
Yeah, and it's worth also noting as well, it's not just as simple as this being this Bears team that managed to make it through to the finals. This would be the first time the Bears franchise would make an MLE Championship Series appearance. Now that in itself is incredible. What's even more incredible is the Bears have never made it past this round since their franchise was created in Season 1. So this is a story. This just goes to show we're Season 10 now. This is such a long period of time to have never made it past this round. If this Bears team can do it, not only would they have knocked out the number 1 seeds in the Bulls, they would have knocked out the number 2 seeds in the Tyrants, and they will definitely be going into the finals next week hot if they can manage this. So I am just so interested, so impressed to see what they can achieve and what they already have achieved.
Yeah, and as we get into game 4 here, a good kickoff for the Bears. It's been 10 seasons of waiting, 10 seasons of letting other teams take their pick, but for the first time in this series, the Tyrants are not going to let them wait for the opening goal. Instead, inside the first 15 seconds, it's Deto to open the scoring for the Tyrants.
Yeah, and this is a surprise. Like you say, the first time in these 4 games they've managed to take the lead. And it's worth saying as well, I think every first goal, if I'm not mistaken, Dan, you might be able to correct me here, has been scored within 20 seconds. In every game so far, there's been a kickoff goal right at the very start.
Yeah, first game 3 seconds, second game I think it was 15 seconds. The second game 5 seconds. This one not too many, and Deto's going to look to double the lead. He has an open net to shoot on, aims to the centre, just a little bit off, but it doesn't matter. Tyrants 2-0.
Yeah, that is just incredible from Deto as well to get it past the final defender. And once that happened, it was just a straight shot to an open net. 10-5 touchdown for the Tyrants as they take the 2-0 lead in under a minute of this game. But it's worth saying the Cardinals, they went 4-0 up before, so we know that they're capable of scoring 4 goals in quick succession, and I have no doubt that they will be looking to repeat that going forward in this game.
And you have to remember that the Bears found themselves on a 3-1 deficit in game 1. They were able to bring back that deficit to take it to overtime. Whilst they may not have been successful, they almost had the clincher on 0 seconds. Now they look to try and bring that score back again. Hyperfang looks to try and put this one high, centering it in the middle, can't find her father. And honestly, that was a sentence I never thought I'd be saying on an MLE broadcast, but you know what? Welcome to MLE. This is crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. And now Cardinal looking to try and beat out one. Hyperfang following it, maybe a little bit too close. And as it goes dangerously over the goal line, Hyperfang gets it over one. It's going to be an eventual maybe 1v1 here. Maybe looking to whip it in instead, opting to go high, getting it off of the ceiling, or attempting to at least, as Cardinal looks to send it wide. A good 50 with Detto. Hyperfang maybe the first one there. Might look to pick up that 100 boost pad as well, but it's been stolen by Loser. It's going to be a 1v1, and as Detto takes it over the top, the double touch coming through, and the Tyrants get their third of game number 4.
He spoke on his mechanical skill to begin this series, and now we get to see the fruits of his labours. Oh my, Detto, you are insane. A great goal for the Tyrants. It's 3 with 3:03 on the clock. The Bears have to try and find some offense soon, or I feel like the Tyrants are just going to take this one head over heels in this game.
Definitely, but we've seen what the Bears are capable of. I've no doubt we're going to potentially see a goal soon as Cardinal manages to recover well after the no contact from him. And Hyperfang now maybe looking for the backflip. It's dangerous. Loser taking a little bit too much time. Straight to Cardinal. Cardinal high. Hyper might look to follow this one up. Does so. Just manages to get the block on Detto, and now it's going to be Cardinal again looking to follow this one off onto the sidewall. Isn't going to follow this one up. Is going to leave it to his daughter. Hyperfang coming in, and now Cardinal on the backtrack needs to save it. It's going in, and it's gone in.
It's Detto again. Detto has scored all 4 goals from all 4 shots. He has been running the show in game 4, and honestly, it's what we expected. This was the man. If anyone was going to take the Tyrants' lackluster performances in games 2 and 3 and turn them around for the rest of the series, it was going to be him. He has been the man for them this season, and really now we get to see him in all of his glory, showing off, flexing all of his creative muscles on offense, and now I feel like it's only a matter of time before the Tyrants are able to keep this momentum rolling and start to take this series by force.
That's very true, but you know, we've seen the Tyrants get a 4-0 deficit back, and now it'll be interesting to see if the Bears can respond appropriately, but it's not looking so at the moment, and the clock is ticking dangerously low now. And Hyper, an unfortunate touch, and following straight over the top is Detto, popped off into the corner by Hyperfang. Hyperfang now having a little bit of difficulty trying to control this one. Pops over the top, the attempted Doomsy, a low one at that coming through from Detto, almost managing to find the second bit of contact, and a good block from Hyper coming through, sending it all the way over to Cardinal. Cardinal now looking to get that clear out. It's patient, it's perfect, it's precise, it's a pass, but it's not going to be finding the back of the net anytime soon, as good 50 sends it the way of Detto. Detto with a clear out. It's going to be past Cardinal, and it's going to be 5-0.
Loser with a great goal there. Reads his teammates pass clean. Cardinal was out of position. He couldn't get back in time. And it's just a case of they threw everything they could at that offensive play, and it didn't pay off for them. They find themselves behind 5-0, and they've got to be thinking, well, now it's 2-2. We have to be looking to game 5. We have to keep our mindset positive going into the next game. This one is all but gone at this point in their eyes, and you've got to be thinking the Bears are hoping that game 5 is going to be a little better for them.
Yeah, you've really got to hope, because as the clock just keeps going, it stops for no man, no woman, and now 5-0 to the good, and it still looks like there could potentially be more, because the overcommit slightly too much now, unfortunately, for this Bears. But that's what happens when you're trying to claw back such a massive deficit. But it's worth saying, you know, it'll only be 2-0. It's not as if we're writing out these teams immediately at the moment. Even if Bears lose this one, it's an equal series. They've done well so far. It's a great infield pass, and Hyperfang managing to find the bottom corner. It's a great goal, a consolation at best, but nevertheless, great team play.
Yeah, and a great shot from Hyperfang. The placement was almost perfect, almost perfectly in the bottom corner, right inside the post. And a great power on the shot as well to carry that one along the floor into the bottom corner. There's very little you can do as a defender to rush back and make that stop. And if we'd have seen a little bit more of that style of offensive play from the Bears this game, maybe we'd be seeing a different result. But the Tyrants will take game 4, and they'll take us to a best of 3 now in the remaining 3 games.
Yeah, best of 3, and that's... Oh, how the tides shift. A best of 7, you always wonder, is a team just going to close it out in spectacular fashion, or is somebody going to get the upper hand and maybe, you know, take a lead and then just have it clawed back and have it go backwards, forward. And in this game, we could not have asked for a better story from these guys. The fantastic double touch coming out from Detto onto the backboard just off of the crossbar, and they're managing to find the goal. Fantastic goal to be scored, especially in Foundation League, really showing the sheer quality of the two teams we have been presented with here. And I mean, going into game number 5, what do you think we're going to see? Do you think we're going to see anything different, or do you think we're still going to be seeing, you know, the same quality, the same level that we're seeing at the moment?
I think if there's one thing that we can guarantee will happen in Game 5, it'll be an early goal within the first 15 seconds. And if there isn't, something's gone wrong with the Matrix. It's one of those situations where it feels like there is a routine now that these teams have settled into. And whilst the Tyrants almost broke that routine by scoring first in Game 4, it feels like it's still going to happen within the first 15 seconds. Either team now need to take a controlling... They need to take control of this series. They need to put their foot down and assert themselves. The Tyrants did so in Game 4. Can they keep it going in Game 5? We'll see as we head into the kickoff.
Yeah, I'm going to call a kickoff goal going the way in, we'll say 9 seconds, going the way... I'm going to go with the Tyrants, actually, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, is it? I can dream. I can guess. No 15-second goal this time. A little bit later, maybe. But it's good to see Hyperfang clearing it out onto the side. It still might be an early goal, but Cardinal putting it out wide. Might be following this one as well now, as Detto just looks to take that 100 boost. Needs to get a good clear. Hyperfang challenging just a little bit too early, and it's going to be the loser following this one out. Cardinal just popping it over the top of him. Detto isn't going to be following that. A good 50 coming out from Cardinal, sending it into a danger zone in the midfield. Detto, not the greatest of touches, but loser with the follow, and it's a great follow at that. It's going to leave Cardinal with a relatively difficult ball to try and clear. 100 boost pad doesn't get stolen, but what does is the first goal out from under the nose of the Bears as the Tyrants take the lead.
And this shows a little shift in gameplay. Normally, it's the Bears. They've been throughout the series. They have gotten the majority of the first goals in the game, and they've been looking more composed in the first half of this series. But now, as we come into the latter stages, it's the big team with the big playoff hopes. It's the Tyrants who have been showing their class. They've come alive, especially Detto. On offense, they have found a rhythm, they've found a groove, and it feels like the Bears are just hitting their heads against a brick wall, saying, how do we get back that momentum we had early on?
Yeah, and this is just so difficult right now for the Bears. We discussed before the game even started about how the only team really holding the Tyrants back at all were the Bulls, and the Bears managed to dispatch them last week. And it's just made way for the Tyrants to take it. And they are trying to do so. They don't want this to go to game number 7. They want to close out earlier than that. They would like to, if possible, close out within the next 2 games. But if Hyena and Cardinal have anything to say about it, that will not happen. But backtracking onto defense, and Detto with the shot and the positioning on defense. Unfortunately, not good enough to save that one out. And Detto with the second of the game, and this is becoming a little bit of a runaway for the Tyrants now.
Yeah, it's almost 7 unanswered with the one goal at the end of Game 4. It has been all Tyrants. It's not just that they're getting lucky goals, that they're getting goals off of counter-attacks. No, they are dominating the play. They are putting the Bears into a difficult position. They are making these opportunities themselves, and they are really taking this Bears defense that I was praising to the heavens for the first half of this series and making it seem like it is nothing but flimsy tissue paper. It's really impressive to see that shift that the Tyrants have put on ever since Game 4, and I'm honestly, it seems like this one is all but the Tyrants to lose.
Yeah, and just as you say that, the third coming through, and it's all Detto again. A great turn, great patience to stop Holt just in front of where the demo opportunity was going to come out for Hyper, and then getting the shot off of the backboard. It's just great. It might be low on the backboard, it might be very, very low on that side wall, to be fair, but it doesn't matter where it bounces, so long as it bounces favorably. It's going to go towards goal. Detto just clearing that one out. It's going to be straight into the path of Cardinal. Cardinal's going to be looking to follow this one up. It's going to be a nice shot, and Detto with the save, and Detto has just been so clinical, and a fantastic pass as well, but Loser can't find the target, and he's not going to feel the greatest about that one, it's got to be said.
Yeah, a little bit of a text cat wow whoops from him towards himself. It's a little bit of a comic thing for him just to try and shake off those possible nerves. Because remember, the Tyrants, they're the reigning champs in FL. They won last season. They took the championship final, if I'm remembering this correctly. And to think that they are now the defending champs, that they've come in with all of this expectation of we have to be the best team. And throughout the season, they were always bested by one team. Now that they've lost that team as a motivator to put them in the finals, they're showing off almost. It feels like they've really thrived with the lack of a team to really, push them for most of the season. Now they have that team in the Bears here who are throwing everything they can at them as a great chance comes out for Cardinal. Great block from Loser getting the demo. Hyperfang can't get the shot on target. It feels like the Tyrants, they've really come out with a chip on their shoulder in this series, and they have now started to chip away at this Bears defense and this Bears team as a whole.
Yeah, and Detto there looking for the shot, can't get it past Hyperfang, and now Loser putting it slowly towards goal. And the amount of time that this Tyrants team is wasting is just brilliant, but that isn't the greatest of decisions, it's got to be said. Detto looking maybe to take it a little bit higher up, doesn't take it high enough off the wall, and it gets presented perfectly for Hyperfang to read it, and what a great read it was. 3-1 and 30 seconds remaining.
Yeah, it feels like that's a goal we saw before, especially with Detto making the mistake on defense, allowing Hyperfang to get the goal. It was very similar to a goal we saw in Game 2. And now the Bears, they found a little bit of a second wind. Another mistouch from Detto. Cardinal finds the net wide open. We've still got 19 seconds remaining, and there's only one goal difference.
Yeah, and this would be some comeback. 30 seconds to score 3 goals in total, scoring the first on the 30-second mark. That would be impressive, almost as impressive as the Tyrants' near comeback in game number 2. But it might not happen. We've just got to wait and see as the clock ticks down. Hyperfang taking good control, popping it over one. Can't get the block onto Detto, but Cardinal can. Needs Hyper to follow this one up. It's not the greatest of touches. It's still up in the air. It's still going to be high. Cardinal looking to challenge, looking to keep it up. Has managed to on the wall. This is going to be risky now, but the ball dropping down. And the Tyrants just manage to hold on by the skin of their teeth to game number 5.
Yeah, and now they are one away from repeating history, from knocking the Bears out once again in the conference finals to stop them from making the championship final again, and trying to repeat history in taking the title for themselves this season. Oh, this matchup. And Detto, what a performance it's been in these last 2 games from him. Absolutely on fire. The man has had very few mistouches, but when he has, they have been crucial in allowing the Bears back into a series. He is so critical to this Tyrants roster's success, and he's really showing why. In some cases, why he's almost like a 50 pence coin. He's 2 halves. He's got the heads where he's scoring 3 of his 4 shots and taking the Tyrants to the win. But on the tails side of things, he's the one letting them back into the match and making those last few seconds so tense for them, as well as Game 6. which side are we going to be seeing? Heads or tails?
Well, I think it all depends on what the Bears decide to do, in all honesty. This Tyrants team are just being given maybe a tiny bit too much room, a tiny bit too much space to work with, especially players like Detto. The challenge is just coming in a tad bit too late, and Detto is such a good player that, well, the minute you give him room, he's likely to get maybe a goal or two. It's worth saying as well, you know, like you said, Detto has really come to life in these final couple of games, and yeah, if the response just isn't good enough from Bears, we're going to be seeing this kind of patience from him continue. There's going to be Cardinal shutting that one down, and now Detto out of the play. What can happen when Cardinal is on the ball? Unfortunately, in that situation, not too much, and a retreating Hyperfang manages to get a backflip just into the ball. It is perfect as well, so crucial, and as the Louser finds himself left in their goal net looking to retreat, it's going to be risky, it's going to be dangerous, it's going to be goal number 1.
And again, it feels like Morpheus is slacky on the end of the matrix. It's not inside the first 15 seconds, but it feels like that rule's gone out the window now. The Bears take their first game lead since, I think, game 4. Or sorry, game 3 even. They haven't led the series. They haven't led the matches since game 3, and it's such a crucial time to find that opening goal, because now their entire playoff lives depend on this one game of Rocket League.
Yeah, it really does, and as that one bounces dangerously, it's unfortunate for Cardinal there. Not quite positioned in the perfect spot. Tries to get the bump onto Louser on the rotate. Rotates a little bit early into the goal, and the Louser presented with an open goal opportunity there. It's sad, but it happens from time to time, and 1 apiece. And the Tyrants really are looking to end out this game.
Yeah, it feels like if this goes the way, the Loser... Oh my lord, Detto, don't do that to me! I was going to say, if Loser does take this W, if he is one of the main reasons that the Tyrants have been there, it's him and Detto as a roster. A great save comes out from Detto there to keep Cardinal shot out. But it feels like if he is to take this one, if he is to make it to the championship final, we may have to see a name change from him, from the loser to the winner at some point, because the man has been there for the Tyrants offense, the Tyrants defense. He is that second man, and whilst he always seems to be playing second fiddle to Detto, that does not take anything away from him. Hyperfang, what a goal!
What a shot from Hyperfang. Great decision to challenge, and then a great flick on the rotation, still inwards as well, and that's a fantastic display on the offense from Hyperfang there. What a great goal, and the Bears recapture the lead for the second time this match.
Yeah, and this is more of the Hyperfang that we saw in the semi-finals. The quality plays, the high press on offense, throwing herself at the ball, making sure that it will find its way into the back of the net. She doesn't care if she doesn't have boots. She'll find the ball, she'll find the net. And if we'd have been seeing that from game 4 onwards, then maybe the Bears wouldn't find themselves in such a precarious position. Another great save comes out. This time Hyper takes it as well. It feels like the Bears, the momentum has shifted back in their favour once again here in game 6. And it's all going to come down to the last few minutes of this matchup.
Yeah, it really is going to come down to the last few minutes as we start heading towards this halfway point in what could potentially be the final game for the Bears if they can't hold on to this lead. The Loser just trying to pop it over Hyperfang. Hyperfang getting a good touch, also a good block as well, looking to keep trying to challenge this. Detto up early, the miss though, and this is the transition onto offense that they needed. Loser passing it off into the corner. Cardinal expecting that play though, and the Loser rereading it onto the corner again. Hyper now following it through, and Detto going to be the one to get the clear on, but the miss from him and a dangerous pass into the center field as the follow from Hyperfang comes out, but the miss, and now the pop over 1, and it's going to be the 1-on-1. The pop over the second is going to cancel out that lead for the Bears as the Tyrants again manage to equalize up this series.
Detto is a different animal on offense for the Tyrants. An absolutely brilliant solo goal there. Takes the ball from his own half, dribbles it past one, beats the other one by taking it over the top, gets bumped for his effort, but the ball's already on target and the save ain't coming out. Detto, you're a man of many talents, and you have been playing out of your mind this series. It has been a pleasure to cast you. Please keep going.
Yeah, and I think they will keep going. Even there, Cardinal trying to come in for that shot, trying to cause problems, but unfortunately it could be a problem the way of the Bears as the loser manages to capitalize and become the winner as they recapture, or rather capture, the lead for the first time in game number 6.
And it all comes off of a poor wall touch from Hyper, plays it towards her own net. She is going to be reliving that one in her nightmares if the Tyrants find a way to take this series now, and Detto's gonna double the lead. It is all going downhill for the underdogs. The Tyrants taking back this dominant lead that we've seen them hold in game 4. We saw them hold for a small amount of time in game 5. Now they look to re-establish it here as we get into the latter half of game 6. It's all coming down for the Bears.
It really is, and Detto again causing so many issues. It's a great pass in, but no connection from the loser. And now it's going to be Hyperfang with the 100 boost, looking to follow the miss there though, and Detto putting it off onto the sidewall, probably allowing the loser to follow this one up at some point. Isn't going to be following fast enough, and now it's going to be Cardinal trying to capitalize on this one. Detto playing it out off into the corner. It's an early challenge from Hyper. The demo coming out from her is going to cause issues as Cardinal now pops it onto the corner, but a favorable spawn from Detto and an unfavorable touch from Hyperfang could lead this to be goal number 5 potentially. The first miss coming out, the pop-up high into the center, and it's going to be the loser following that one, but Hyperfang with a great clear out and now needs to follow this one. It's dangerously high. Cardinal is going to be up for it. A miss from him. The loser's going to have the chance now to really become the winner, as 5 goals to 2 might just have done enough to seal out this victory for the Tyrants.
32 seconds separates the Tyrants from their second consecutive championship final. 32 seconds separates the Bears from a 10th season of waiting for their first championship final. You can't write stories better than this. Can the Bears come back into it? I want to see it. I want to see the Bears come back into it, but I just can't see it happening. The Tyrants are just too good all round. Detto, especially the popping off, loser hitting his form in this game. As the clock ticks down at 10 seconds, there's nothing that the Bears can do. Detto's going to let this one roll down in the corner. Cardinal tries to play it across the midfield, but it doesn't matter. The clock hits 0 on the Bears' run here in FL, and the Tyrants will take Game 6 and the series. We will see them next Saturday in the finals.
Yeah, and that was a great performance from both teams, not just the Tyrants. The Tyrants may have won 4-2 in the series on the day, but the Bears just played so well, and that was something that could have been just as good as the final match that we will see next week. This was just absolutely incredible. Unbelievable plays. Just what did you think the Bears would have had to have done to have won that eventually? Because Detto just played so well.
I think it's more a mental thing on their end. It is very hard when you know everything's on the line and you struggle to the point where you're behind 3. You've got 32 seconds. You cannot afford to miss the ball. You have to be also sending it all the way up the field. Everything relies on it. Every single touch that you make. It puts so much pressure on you that at that point the game was almost already unwinnable. It requires a mental fortitude that the team just did not have, unfortunately, for today. The father-daughter combo are out. The fairy tale ends here at the conference finals. But the dream of a backed champion for the Tyrants lives on. And it relies upon the shoulders of the man that took them all the way through the season to the position they're in right now. And that is Detto.
Yeah, and it's just been so incredible. And it's worth saying, this isn't just the Tyrants going back-to-back Foundation League champions. This is now a loser in 2 consecutive Foundation League championships. That is impressive, because although we speak about, how solid and how incredible Detto played today, it just goes to show that consistency is key. Loser has managed this now twice. And, if winning the first time doesn't, or rather getting through to the championships in the first time doesn't get you to change your name from loser to winner, what does? What will?
I think two-time champ sounds pretty good. Two-time winner, maybe. He may have to be his new name. We do have an interview lined up with him soon. But first, our newly acquainted friends, Forge Coaching, want to give one of you lucky peeps 100% off a code for their coaching. To enter, simply submit an entry form in the MLE Discord server in league announcements. The winner will be chosen at random and then announced on Sunday stream. Entries do close on 3 p.m. EST. That is, I believe, 12 p.m. Pacific and 2 p.m. Mountain Time. For British Standard, that is 8 p.m. and then East and then European is, I believe, 9 p.m. I think I got all those times right. Forgive me if I didn't. It's very hard to keep control of time zones, especially when you live in a completely different region to the event which you are managing to cast. But what a great series. And we bring up Loser as a solid player who's been there. He's the second man always in these matchups. And we're going to have an interview with him coming up shortly. I'm looking forward to seeing what his opinions are on his teammates' performance and his own performance, especially in that game 6. He really came alive on offense, and I can't wait to see him really, show his own and tell us what his thought process was going into the matchup.
Yeah, and obviously it begs the question for you as well, and this is something that I'm curious to see what you think. Obviously, you've been watching these games for quite a while. You've been around in MLE for a little while now. You've seen a lot. Do you think that Detto would be able to hold his own in maybe now a higher league? So maybe if we saw him in the Academy League, do we think he'd be able to hold his own, or do we think that he might be outshined?
I don't think he would just hold his own. I think he would thrive. The man has been killing it in FL all season long. He has been the man for the Tyrants. He was maybe outshone by Vuma throughout the season, who was taking the balls to new heights we hadn't seen an FL team reach. But now that Vuma has ranked out into Academy League himself, I feel it's only a matter of time before Detto joins him up there in those ranks and takes his rightful spot as one of the top Academy League players in the future for MLE.
Yeah, because obviously this is the lowest of the league. So this is the league where you have a lot of room to potentially improve and potentially show yourself as one of those standout players for the roster, which is something that Detto managed to do extremely well today, even Loser. But not just that, Hyperfang as well. It's worth saying. I mean, we've mentioned a lot about how the Tyrants play because they won, and it's fair to say that. Now, we've seen 6 seasons where we've had Cardinal in, and now it's Hyperfang that's coming out, and she came out on top on a lot of those games. She played extremely well. But do you think she's quite got that level capable of moving up, or do you think another season in the Foundation League might just give the experience she'd need to step into the next league in the future?
I think to expect someone to be playing at their absolute best in their very first season, even with familial help on their roster, is too much to ask for in the case of a player. And sooner rather than later, we're going to be seeing players like her find their way up to the Academy League. But I don't think it would be a good move for her necessarily in terms of finding her footing in the league to move up yet. Instead, maybe take another season in FL, get your footing, find a championship win if you're going to remain on the Bears, and really prove to yourself, to everyone that's watching, that you are truly one of the best players in Foundation League and that you can take it to a final. I believe we are ready for an interview.
We are. So, from the winners, we have the Loser. Loser, how are you doing? How did you find that?
Oh, it was good. It intense like I thought it would be. I knew they were going to bring it. I've seen them play, and I've played with against Cardinals several times. So, yeah, I knew they were going to bring it. So that was good.
Okay, so when you kind of went 2-1 down in the series, obviously that was a tough point because you'd taken game number 1 so kind of convincingly, and even though it went to overtime, it was obviously a close overtime. Coming 4 goals back from that 4-0 deficit in game number 2, and then losing that overtime, how did you feel going 2-1 down the series? Did you think, oh, we might not take this? This is going to be difficult.
I didn't think for a second it was going to be a walkover, but it was definitely when we came back on that 4 goal thing to force overtime. I was super excited and hoping that we would carry through the overtime. Didn't work out our way, but just continually trying to keep a steady mentality and not letting too many things get too into our heads.
All right, we've been singing the praises of your teammate all night long so far, but you have been Mr. Consistent for the Tyrants. You've been there, you've done that, you've been to the final, you've got the trophy, you've got the t-shirt. What does it take as a player to make it to the final? What mentality do you have to bring into that match? I can hear myself, that is worrying.
Oh.
What does it take to be
My wife was really close and she's listening, so it was carrying through.
That is absolutely fine. What mentality do you have to carry into a finals matchup that's any different from the mentality you carried into tonight's conference finals?
I think it's very similar. I mean, I'm still waiting on that T-shirt you said that I have, but it's pretty similar. It's a 7-game series. You gotta win. You gotta know that losing a game is not the end of the world. And yeah, Dedo, I think depending on which console he's on, his name is different. But Dedo is definitely he's a high flyer, and my role has been for the last 2 years just to kind of be a foundation so they can fly, and I'll just make sure I can catch anything that falls to the ground. So yeah, I mean, I never have been super aerial Spider-Man guy in Rocket League, so I just kind of stay on the ground and do what I need to do.
Okay, final question for you. Actually, piggybacking off of pretty much what you said. So you said you're that kind of foundation player. You're the person that you kind of boost these players up a level. Do you have any ambition yourself to go a level higher, to go like a league higher, or are you comfortable with Foundation League?
I love Foundation League. I love the skill level is so good. Like a lot of people think, oh, they're diamond and they're platinum, that it can't be good, but the competition is so good. I have been trying to level up, but I work third shift and it's super hard to find like a teammate. So I get cursed with the solo queue curse that I'm trying to get up, and I'm diamond 1 in 3s, and I've gotten to platinum 3, div 4 in 2s, and I just can't break the hump. So on this off season, my goal is to really grind to get to the I want to be in academy next year. So
I feel that solo queue day feeling. It is a rough one to shake. I hope you do find a teammate now that you are being broadcasted in front of hundreds of people watching here on MLE. Thank you so much for your time, and I wish you the best of luck in the finals next week.
And with that, what a fantastic interview. What a fantastic player. What humbleness. It's just lovely to speak to the guys in Foundation League, because obviously they know full well they're not at that GC rank. They're not at those top levels, but they appreciate and they have an appreciation for the game that I feel sometimes can get lost on some of the higher ranked players. And there's an appreciation for the teammates, especially in Foundation League and their opponents, that the sportsmanship transcends beyond their rank. And it's just unbelievably wonderful to see. But speaking of wonderful to see, on the other side of the conference in the Foundation League, the Knights, first seed, facing off against the Hurricanes, second seed. Hurricanes, not Hurricanes. I know, I'm British, it sounds odd. But this is going to be an incredible matchup, something you do not want to miss, trust me. These two teams, it's worth saying, actually used to play in the other conference only 2 seasons ago. So the shifting conference for them has actually favored them. They're now both in the finals for it. So it's great. But We will be taking a short break. Do not go anywhere. Remember that MLE sponsored by Play of the Week. If you see something you think is incredible, it's amazing, you can clip it, you can send it in !POTW, and the winners will get a case of Balls Guarana delivered to their door free of charge. So you see something you like, you clip it, you !POTW. Thank you so much, and we will be right back after this break.